Okay, so as promised then, here is an updated guide on the Unit 2 Greenfoot task. What I've done is come straight into Moodle, like I showed you in our last lesson. I'm going to go into Unit 2, I'm going to go to the past papers section, and I'm using the June 2022. So you've got June 2022 as a zip file here, but you also have the PDF next to it, meaning you can have the actual question paper. You can see the whole thing. I'm only going to focus on question 7. And you can also have the files, so June 2022. If I go into that zip folder, you can see there, download zip. If I open this up, it's got the English and the Welsh version, just like it would do in your exam. I can just drop that English version onto my desktop. And I'm going to go into the English version, and we can see these here. Now they've given you files. They've given you an electronic document. They've given you some pictures and other files as well. Most of those files are related to earlier questions. For example, you've got the HTML file, you've got the picture for the robot cleaning. All these questions, all of these elements we will cover in time. But right now, this tutorial is just looking at question number 7. Question number 7 starts with open the Greenfoot World WJEC Trees 7 and familiarize yourself with its contents. Complete the following as instructed. So let's go into Greenfoot. Let me just grab my Greenfoot installation. I have only just installed it, hence I'm getting these security pop-ups. I'm then going to go into Scenario, Open, on my desktop, in the desktop folder, if I can ever remember, that's the English folder, WJEC Trees 7. And here it is. So as we can see, they've got the setup for different bits and pieces in place. They've got their ground, they've got some uncompiled elements. I'm going to start by hitting compile. And that's come together. It's given me no errors. I'm just going to stretch this out so it fills up properly. And compile again. No issues whatsoever. Now it says here, the first step is to populate the world with a tree, sun, and at least 2 instances of a water drop. What I want you to do is, as you are doing this, carry on with the PowerPoint presentation in the same style as before. So, WJEC Trees 7 and by James Jones. And I'm going to go on to a new slide and simply start. As I'm using the PDF, I'm going to take the exact wording and copy and paste it. Nice and simple. Now, it does say at the end of this one that this is worth 3 marks. So just for putting in tree, sun, and at least 2 water drops, like the picture shows here, tree, sun, 2 water drops, will get you 3 marks. On Greenfoot, we should know this one, but it's a right click on a sun for a new sun, right click on a tree for a new tree, and the water drops are the same, and they want at least 2. Now, I did tell you the other day about the poor setup that you tend to use for the sprite pictures, so if you move it too quickly it doesn't work very well. You'll see that in a couple of seconds time. I'm going to save that world, and on my PowerPoint presentation in this section here I'm going to go insert screenshot and just grab my screen clipping. Nice and simple. There's part 1, and what do they actually call it? It is part A. So I'm going to say in brackets A, and there we have it. There's a 3 mark element, and if you want to put the 3 marks in, you can do, and you would be getting 3 marks just for doing that. Next up then, obviously we're going to go into B, and B says, let me just grab all of that, see if I can actually copy the letter B too. I don't think I can without taking the rest of it, I don't want that. So I'm going to do the letter B myself. So I'm going to do in here, again, B, and it says edit the water drop and the sun objects so that they turn and move at random around the world. So I want the water drop. Here it is. It is very blank. They've got rid of some of the basic comments you get within Greenfoot, and we have our basic elements here. Now they have thrown a curveball by including this public void water drop. Not a lot will happen in there. Act is where we need to be writing our code. So I can comfortably delete that and compile this, and nothing should change. That's there as a red herring that's there to try and catch you off guard and see if you know that it should be going in void act. Now, we don't talk about going into void act very often because it's already preset by Greenfoot, but void act is just its way of running something every single time. So we do a move command, and it does say just to move it sensibly, and then it says to turn randomly. So I'm going to say if Greenfoot dot is key down, and the key I'm looking for, no, we're not doing a key down, no wait, we're doing a get random number. Get random number, and the random number we want is say up to a value of 10, and is it equal to 1? If it is, we're going to turn. So I'm going to say turn, and I'm actually going to use the Greenfoot get random number again to get them to turn randomly at a point. And let's say up to 360. So they can turn in any direction at any point. And if I run that, they are turning. They're just going all over the place. Not really going very far here, but they are moving there. I think moving by 2 is a bit fast, so I'm actually going to drop that down to move by 1, compile it, and run that. So they're a bit slower, and they're moving around, and you can see where they are. Now, if you actually look at it, you can see that the artwork they provided you, rather than providing you with a background-free PNG, is just the same color as the background would be, which is why you can see this overlap by here. But anyway, back to what we were doing. Here's our code. That works. I'm going to copy that into my tree. I think it was a tree. It was the water drop and the sun, so I won't copy it into the tree. I play as the tree. Bit of a strange game. So sun, and same thing. They have in place the public sun void to try and catch you off guard, to confuse you. But do that and you'll be perfectly fine. And you can see them all moving around there. So over here on B, on our presentation, I want to see from you a print screen showing your code. I also want to show from you a video. So let's go screen clip in. And this is going to be interesting to see how well I can video while video recording. But there you go. And record, reset this, and click play. Just so I can see both of these elements moving around quite clearly. Okay, it's hidden behind there, but I can see that's all happening. And I'm going to stop that there. So we have in place our video, and we have that there. Next up, we're going to go on to C. I'm going to copy that into new PowerPoint presentation and put in C. No, I don't want the copyright symbol. I just want the letter C in a bracket. There we go. It says edit the tree so it moves at an appropriate speed in the direction when the arrow keys are pressed. So let's stop this game a second, reset everything, and go into our tree. Our tree is our player character in this one. So in here, what I'm going to say is, again, they got public tree to try and catch you off guard. Don't worry about it. Just go straight into the void act and do, let's say, move. So always have our tree moving around. And I'm going to say if Greenfoot dot is key down, and the key in reference is the up key, I want to set rotation to 270. And let's just double check I've got all of that right. I have. So I can copy this and paste it 4 times. As you can see, I am being lazy. I've used the single line execution command. I've not got brackets in place. I'm going to say down, left and right. And just like on a circle, our angles are based around a circle point. So up is 270, down would be 90, left would be 180, and right is just simply 0. If I compile that and run that just to double check it before I film it, yes, 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 and he's moving around perfectly fine. So let's reset that and put that in place. Again, in here, I want a screenshot of my code. Let's get all of the elements in there for my tree. I want a inserted recording of my game. Let's minimize this, reset this, and record. And click run. And you can see everything moving. You can see my tree moving constantly, but he moves and I can control him by the arrow presses. I can stop that and put that there too. So there's our 2 elements so far. As far as this goes, we're now onto the tree editing. So it says edit the tree. So when it collides, sorry, let's try that one again. Edit the tree object so that it drinks a water droplet when they collide. Removes the water droplet from the world. Now, I'm going to go into my water droplet. And in this section here, I'm first of all going to go back to PowerPoint because I forgot to do that part. I say D. And in here, I'm going to say if is touching. And we want to check if our water droplet is touching our tree. Let's double check the spelling and what they've used. It is just tree. So tree.class. If it's touching that, then get the world. .get. Oh, sorry. Remove object. And the object we want to remove is called this. And again, over here, we're going to insert a screenshot showing that code we've got with our removing. We're then going to go in and play that game, doing exactly the same steps as before. Screen recording, same area, nice and easy, record it. But this time, when our tree hits our water droplets, they should be removed from the world. If I have compiled it. I don't think I have. Compile it. There we go. Now, if I go like that, I can actually collect, eventually, all my water droplets. I can stop that and bring this back in here. So we have our different elements in place. We're now on to point E, add in the sound. Now, I know I said that we haven't done sound, we haven't done a great deal of sound, but I'll show you it here. You should have headphones on if you're listening to this, if you remember to bring in your own headphones, so it should work for you. It says add a sound which will play every time the tree drinks a water droplet. So on here then, I can't use a single line anymore. I've got to put a bracket in place. As we had a big discussion about, nothing happens after the get world, so it's got to go here, and it's Greenfoot dot play sound. Now, to tell it what sound we want it to play, we need to go into our trees, sounds, and see what the name of it is. And it is pop.wav. While you're in school, the chances are you will have hidden items there. Not hidden items, sorry, my bad. You will have file name extensions hidden. So it'll just say pop. And over here, it's got a type of WAV. I'll tell you now, it will always be a type of WAV file, but you may not necessarily see that extension. So on here, I need to put it in speech marks and say pop.wav. And there's my code. Told you it was nice and simple. It is just simply greenfoot.playSound. If I compile that, no errors. Again, on my, let's grab this, add a sound. Check that in as our point E. And in here, insert that screenshot showing that sound. Greenfoot.playSound. And hopefully, if I go insert screen recording, microphone is on, it's recording. If I load the right area with Greenfoot, when it plays, check my volume right up, you should hear the pop sound. I don't know how loud this is going to be, mind. So here's that recording, and that's all set up. Record. 3, 2, 1, in. Wow, that's loud. That is very loud. Anyway, turn the volume back down. Okay, so you can hear that worked effectively. I can stop that, and we've put that in place. The only real issue with the sound code that you may come across is if you don't put the WAV in place and you don't have it in speech marks. So make sure you have that all in place there. So moving on to F then, our counter. And as I told you earlier, WJEC always give you a counter with some form of mistake in it. So here's our counter here. For one, you haven't got the picture. 2, if I open up the counter and we look at the counter, this is all that's included in that counter. If I actually go in and import the counter properly, so I'm going to remove this one to start with, and then I'm going to go edit, import class, counter. When I import the counter, it's now had its picture allocated properly. And if it hasn't got the picture, you can just go set image and find it on the side here. But aside from that, look at all of this code that should be inside that counter that hasn't been left in there. That's what I mean by they mess with it. So it says add a counter, edit the code so that, let me save the world before I forget. Edit the code so that the counter displays how many water droplets have been drunk by the tree. So we're still in that water droplet. In this section here, after it plays the pop noise, we want that really long piece of code, which starts us casting as a counter. Then we want to get the world. We want to get the objects that type of counter.class. Once I've done that, I want to get the first one, which is number 0, and I can close that off. Have a look, take some time, pause it right here, watch my brackets, make sure you know where you're putting yours. And then I want to add 1. Nice and simple. That is a long piece of code, and if I go back to the question, that is worth 2 marks. You get more for adding in objects. If you did all of this without doing the counter, you would drop 3 marks. It's not the massive amount to drop. It's not difficult, but don't stress. If you can't remember it on the day, don't worry about it. Although, to be fair, the day is quite a while out for you guys. So let's put that there. Here's the counter code. Again, I'm going to go insert, screenshot, and grab the counter code. I'm going to go to insert, screen recording. I can get rid of that one now. I can put this back in place and make sure it's in the right area. That's on. Let's whack this up again. I know it hurts, but never mind. Record that. 3, 2, 1. And now, ooh, I've got to remember to compile these things. You can hear that. You can see that's increased as well. So my score's gone up. Stop that then. And let's resize this. Going on from there then, we have 1 point left. Oh, well 2, but 1 saving it. I'm going to edit the counter so it loses a point if the sun collides with a water droplet. So that is G. And I'm going to go into my code. So effectively, the counter should lose a point when the sun collides with a water droplet. In Greenfoot then. So if the sun collides with a water droplet, I'm going to take this code here. I'm going to go to the sun. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to say if is touching, rather than saying if it's touching the tree, I'm going to say water drop. I'm not going to have it pop, so I'm going to get rid of the pop sound. I'm going to have it -1, and I am going to get it to remove the sun. It doesn't necessarily state that the sun should be removed. It just says that when they collide, 1 point is deducted. But I know if I don't remove it, what's going to happen is, and actually I'll show you this, let's get rid of that collision for it first of all, so we don't need that one. If I get rid of the removal and compile it, capital W, compile it and run it. Come on, son. This is going to be typical, isn't it? It's not going to happen. Yep, never mind. What would happen is, as they constantly touch, in fact, let's box it in. There we go. And run. Where they're constantly touching, it's constantly deducting points. So, I think you should have that removal in place, because otherwise it constantly deducts points. Now, in here then, I'm going to go insert, screenshot, and check that there. I'm going to box it in just like I did 2 seconds ago, just to show that it works. And I'm going to insert my screen recording, record that. So there we go, it's gone down. I forgot to compile it, so let's compile it and box it in again. This time when it touches it, the sun should disappear. There we go, no sun. Perfect. I'm going to stop that. There is my video showing that that works. The last step then is to save your world as final WJEC trees 7. So get rid of this one here. I'm going to go in scenario, save as. in here, final WJEC Trees 7, save, it'll disappear, reappear, and go into compile it, and there it is. Now you can see my counter's actually lost this picture. So I'm going to go set image, and I'm going to go counter, OK, and compile it, and stretch it out, and I'm going to go save the world, and scenario save. And all I've got to do in this one, as I showed you before, is come back to here on the final bullet point, take the actual word in for the bullet point H, and insert a screenshot showing that folder structure where trees is highlighted, insert a screenshot showing my world called final WJEC 7, and chuck a nice big arrow pointing at WJEC Trees 7. Let's make it stand out. Shape fill, bright yellow, pointing at it. I'm going to save this presentation in the same folder. So desktop, it's in my English folder here, and I'm going to call it WJEC Trees 7 Evidence. And that shows that I've done all of these points here. That should give me my full marks for this question number 7. And it is this WJEC Trees 7 presentation that I'd want you to upload back to Moodle so I can check how you've done.